How far is too far? When it comes to TV, that potentially gross line is always changing. Today, you can find just about every body part and swear word on the small screen at any given time of the day. But there was a time when TV was a bit more conservative. Whether or not they'd be shocking today, here are a few TV moments that took things too far. Graphic content. The CBS sitcom Two Broke Girls follows the exploits of two New York waitresses as they attempt to start their own cupcake business. But many viewers find the pair far from sweet. Complaints sent to the FCC about the show's content included one woman urging the authorities to review an episode that depicts a naked doll being manipulated into quote-unquote graphic sexual acts. Of course, how graphic a Barbie can be without actual genitals is a different question entirely. Boobytrapped. When Married with Children premiered in 1987, Al, Peg, and the rest of the Bundys weren't the picture-perfect family America was so used to seeing. Al constantly called Peg a horrible housewife, mother, and cook, while Peg was there to let her husband know just how inadequate he was as the man of the house. But it was an episode that took place in a bra shop that was the breaking point for one Michigan woman, Terry Ricolta. The episode compelled her to start a letter-writing campaign encouraging a boycott of the show.
I sent my children out of the room after 5 minutes of this trash, but I'm excited to watch and see what kind of low-class advertisers will support this type of program.
Ricolta's campaign became legitimate news. A few advertisers pulled their ads and at least one episode wasn't aired. But ultimately, the publicity that Ricolta generated for the show is credited for helping it find its audience and stay on the air for 11 seasons. So you have Terry Ricolta to thank for classy jokes like this.
Hey, Bundy! I had steak tonight. What are you having?
If I was the mailman, I'd be having your wife.
Raining on your parade. Never afraid to push the boundaries of good taste for a laugh. One episode of Seinfeld crossed the line between humor and bigotry, according to Bronx Borough President Fernando Ferrer. He was one of numerous viewers offended by a plotline that saw the main characters caught up in a traffic jam caused by the Puerto Rican Day Parade and desecrating a Puerto Rican flag, causing angry bystanders to toss their car down a stairwell.
You know, it's like this every day in Puerto Rico.
Both the comment and the flag burning provoked outrage, with the National Puerto Rican Coalition calling it an unquestionable insult to the country and demanding an apology from NBC. The network quickly complied. Family Guy's second ban. Once accused of anti-Semitism, the Family Guy episode When You Wish Upon a Weinstein was temporarily banned on Fox, but eventually aired 4 years after it was originally produced, and after the show had already gone to depths that were arguably far worse. However, the network refused to relent when it came to the Season 8 finale, Partial Terms of Endearment. The so-called abortion episode was made but rejected, with both Fox and Adult Swim exercising their right not to air it. Instead, it was released as a standalone DVD and on BBC Three in the UK. Creator Seth MacFarlane saw it as a cop-out aimed at placating conservative viewers, saying, "Times really have changed. The network is making a decision that is, unfortunately, probably based on people's current ability to handle and dissect controversial narratives. It wasn't the first or last time Fox would deal with censorship issues." Everything's relative. The classic sci-fi series, The X-Files, also had an episode banned for inappropriate content. Home was the first ever X-Files episode to begin with a viewer discretion warning and remained the only one to carry a TV MA rating, which it probably deserved. The plot follows Mulder and Scully as they investigate a secluded farmhouse after an abandoned baby is found nearby. What they discover are three brothers, the younger two fathered by the eldest, which makes for a very complicated and gross family tree.
When you know your boy will do anything for his mother.
Fox removed the episode from syndication and only repeated it once as part of a 1999 Halloween special, advertising it as an episode so controversial it's been banned from television for 3 years. Right on. No Homer's Club. While The Simpsons usually takes a more subtle approach to lampooning its targets than shows like Family Guy or South Park, when Springfield's first family poked fun at Brazil, they almost wound up causing a diplomatic incident. The episode Blame It on Lisa saw The Simpsons head to Brazil and face all manners of trouble upon arrival. Homer is kidnapped by a cabbie. He and Bart are mugged by children, and there are rampant monkey attacks.
The drunkenness, the ambiguous sexuality. I've got to get out of here.
The country's president, Fernando Henrique Cardoso, thought it brought a distortion of Brazilian reality to the screen. The Rio Tourism Board agreed, claiming that the $18 million it had recently spent on promoting the city in the States was now wasted. Meanwhile, a little over a decade later, the 2016 Olympics actually verified a few of The Simpsons' claims. Did it for Dexter. When a show portrays a serial killer as a charismatic champion of justice with a pretty sweet Miami life, it's bound to attract a few copycats. In January 2014, 21-year-old Mark Howe was found guilty of murdering his mother after she'd been slashed more than 50 times. Howe's search history featured gems like Dexter's kill knife and what does a sociopath need to do to blend in seamlessly with society. But clearly not how to clear your browser history, you dummy. The event reignited the debate over whether the show should be taken off the air, since it wasn't even the first murder to be blamed on Showtime's crime drama. In 2008, aspiring Canadian filmmaker Mark Twitchell, who had been going under the name Dexter Morgan on Facebook, lured two men to his home under the pretense of making a horror film about a sword-wielding mass murderer. Twitchell killed one of the men, and the other managed to escape. And we can't forget Jessica Lopez, who strangled a woman and attempted to chop her up like the show's protagonist. Starring Hitler? Some of Britain's greatest exports have been created at the UK's famous Pinewood Studios, but not everything that comes out of the world-renowned studio is guaranteed to be a success.
Heil, honey.
Heil, honey.
Heil, honey.
Heil, honey.
Heil, honey.
Hello.
I'm home.
Heil Honey, I'm Home was supposed to follow a reimagined version of Adolf Hitler and his partner Eva Braun as they deal with living next door to a Jewish couple. The show, a 1990 spoof of terrible sitcoms, failed right out of the gate.
I'm a very, very bad Hitler.
The now defunct Galaxy Channel was forced to pull the plug after the pilot episode because of accusations of anti-Semitism. Writer Greg Atkinson has always insisted his intentions were misunderstood, saying, "Sometimes you can destroy bullies by laughing at them. This isn't about denying what happened, it's about being human in the face of inhumanity." About a decade later, comedy fans were finally ready to embrace the absurdity of a comedic Hitler. Hooray? Thanks for watching. Click the looper icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.